Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at VeChain. So do we think that we have a bottom in here or do we think there's more price continuation to the downside? These are the questions we're going to be answering in this video. First off, I'd like to thank you for watching this video, and if you'd like to show your support, please smash that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Feel free to comment with any feedback that you may have, and while you're down there you can find a link to the Discord. Why not come have a chat with us? Once in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff and we'll be happy to help you out with anything we can. Also in the description below, you'll find an affiliate link to BYBIT. This is one of the best exchanges in our opinion. It's the one we use when we're trading. Whether you want to leverage trade or spot trade, it really is a great exchange. Okay, so let's get into this price action. So there's a few ways that we can look at this on a macro. And basically, if I just jump back out here to the daily, let's click this. So one of them is that we can look at it as a bigger corrective pattern. It's a W, X, and a Y. So basically, what this is it's a pattern made up of 3, 3, 3. And what we'd then be looking for is the potential that we have an A, B, C, a zigzag to complete this pattern on this Y wave low, which could be between this 0.01266 all the way down to this 0.00769 area. It all depends on how the substructure forms here. It doesn't have to go to this one-to-one exactly, and we would have technically met the minimum requirement, but the structure is suggesting that we could have potentially more to come down. The other way that I'm looking at, if I just toggle this over here and I switch on to the 5-wave move, is the potential that we are still within a third wave here. And this would mean that we would have to come down some more before we look for a move to the upside and then continuation to the downside. Though, like I said, this is just a roadmap, so we need to see how they react around certain levels, and basically that's what we will be looking for to see how these levels react and to get a better gauge as to which option is playing out. So if I just come into this now, if I jump back down to the hourly, we can have a look at what we want to do here. Okay, so within this move here, what I've been looking at is the potential of this move off this low being an A wave into this high point here. So basically, because we're looking in this option, we are looking for the fourth wave. If I jump back up to just four, there we go. So we're looking for the potential that we're forming this fourth wave here, and we're getting a ending diagonal. And basically, what we'd be looking for after this would be this fifth wave drop. Until we start to get it, it's not very much information regarding where it could be. It potentially could come down, and if I just draw a trend line across here, we could look to move back down to this trend line as a potential end target, but sometimes these can wick through, so it's not very reliable. Only once we start to get structure will we get a better idea. So anyway, back into where we want it to be over here. So off these lows here that we've dropped down here, this can either be an ABC, so a 5, 3, 5 up into this area here, which is a zigzag correction. Then we would be looking for a movement to the downside in a B wave. So from this point, we have two options. Either we are going to look to start forming the C wave up here, or this B wave is not completed. And what we're going to be looking at is potentially a move like this, where we have this as a wave up into a B wave, and then look to retrace down for a C wave in this position. So this would be an A, a B, and a C. So with this option, really, once we break above this high point here at 1960, that would be less it would be less relevant, this potential move here, because unless it was going to become a bigger flat correction, which is always possible. But I think once we start getting up into these zones, there's another option which we're going to go over here shortly, which is more likely. So if we do manage to break down, if we do start to break down from this position, because currently we are sitting, and we'll go over this once again in a second, you can see we're sitting on this 1.618 area here. So we would be expecting an additional fourth and a fifth wave here. Should that fail to develop, and then this starts to break down, my target area for this would be between this 0.018 0.002 to 0.01839 area, ideally, but it could move down all the way as deep as this 1759 area down the bottom here. Though, if we were going to be looking for continuation to the upside, we still wouldn't want to break below this low point here. And if I just drop that line in there, that would be 0.01727. We would not want to break down below this point, otherwise it would be indicative that we're going to be continuing down in potentially that 5-wave move, which we'll go over. So we could have formed this B already here, and we're looking to push up towards this 1-to-1 of this 0.2088, or we could be looking to have a bigger correction to the downside here and look to try find support in this support box here. So if I go over to the other option here, the okay, so this is a bit busy, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to delete some of the waves off this for the time being, so that we can. So the idea here is that we could be looking for a bit of a breakout here, and the reason for that is we can count this move slightly different, where we could have an A, B, and a C, looking for a expanding flat. And what we would be looking to do is to target up this higher area here with this, should it develop. So there is some areas of interest with this move that we would need to be looking out for, and basically zooming right in here, from this little basis point here, we'd be looking at a 1, 2, up into here for a 3, and we'd be looking for this 4th wave retracement. So should this 4th wave retracement play out, it would be looking to target out this 0.1896 ideally. That is a sort of ideal place for this 4th wave. If it doesn't quite reach there, it doesn't mean it's invalid. It could look to find support here at this 0.1898 area and then move up. So finding support in this previous 4th wave and then look for a push up. And then the target area for that would be the 0.1956 to 0.1942 area. So now what happens from there is important if this does play out. So if this does play out, basically what we would be looking for is more evidence that we are potentially within this green wave 3 that we can see over here. And that would be looking to target out this 0.2117 area ideally. And if I plot this out, I've already marked up the impulsive areas off of the. So if I just drop that there for now, if I zoom this back out a little bit and bring you in here, basically then what we would be doing, if I change this color, it might make it a bit easier. There we go. So if we look at this teal move now, basically what would happen is that what we're looking for is the potential that this is a 1 and we're looking for a wave 2 support to come in. So should the green waves develop into this zone, we'd be looking to see if we find support on this 0.1879 area, but could potentially move down all the way to the 0.01862 area, potentially testing this diagonal here again. If we do find support and we don't fall below this 0.1839 area, then potentially we could be looking for a 3rd wave move. Ideal area for this 3rd wave move to end would be this 0.0206 area. So that would be ideal, the ideal length for this 3rd wave to play out. And then if that does play out, we'd be looking for a retracement and then to the 0.1990 area and then a push up to this 0.02109 to 0.2080 area. So that's basically what we're looking for there. If this does progress, we can see now, so if I zoom out slightly more, that now puts us in quite a good position for potentially hitting this next impulsive trigger, which would be up here at 0.02117. So if that's the case, we could be looking at potentially, if we get a little bit more extension within these waves, that this 5th wave might cross this line here, which would then indicate we would again have to wait for the confirmation by having the 4th wave. That's very important with these things, because sometimes we can have a corrective move that targets out this 1.618 and then it moves away. So the important thing on this is allowing the time for this retracement to happen, seeing how it reacts, making sure that it falls within the zones, and then we can carry on with the roadmap basically. So if that would be the case, then now this green wave 3 would be triggered and we'd be looking to push up much higher to this 0.2204 to 0.2154. Once again, if this does play out and we get this bigger five-way move, then we would have to allow for the fact we could be getting this additional fourth and a fifth, and which could look to push up as high as this 0.2262 area. And that would sort of come into the line of some of these support zones at the bottom here that we lost. And it could be the fact that we come up and retest these zones and then look for rejection to the downside. I am thinking that downside is more likely at this point because of the fact, like if we look at the stochastics, we can see that the 4 hourly, 1 hourly, the 8 hourly's got a bit of room. The daily is just outside the overbought area, and the weekly is low, but it still has potential to drop. So we just need to bear that in mind. If we have a look back here, this could allow for a drop. So with all this being said, and the fact that all those are so overbought, I just want to switch over here to the where is it? This one. And basically, what I'd be looking out for here is if we fail to move up past this zone here, what we could potentially be on the lookout for is because there's a lot of this move down here has got a lot of holes within it, basically in its interpretation for the time being. But until we move back above this 0.2085 area, we need to be aware that we can count this move within here as a impulse. So what we need to be careful of is that we don't have something like this where we come up. This could actually be a completed wave too, even if it doesn't come up again. Um, Although the structure here is not currently indicating impulsiveness to the downside, but we could look to make a wave two, and then basically, if I just pull the fib off of here, off of this high point here, I'll get on there. If we just go up to this high point, why are you not playing ball today? Let's get on there. Come on, come on. There we go. Sorry about that. That must have been painful. Okay, but basically what we'd be looking for is evidence. If we break down from this point and we start to see some impulsiveness to the downside, what we could effectively have is a bigger impulsive move to the downside here. And what we would be looking out for then is the potential that we could take out this 0.1727. Should we take that out and we start to see some more aggressive moves to the downside, then it's possible that we have this as a 1-2, and then we're looking to fall down past this 0.1445 area, which is the ideal third wave location, before a push up for a fourth and a fifth down into this zone here of the 0.1409 to 0.1350 area. Now, the important thing about this is if I zoom out again slightly, I might need to go into the 4 hourly to get the idea of this. Okay, so should we start to break down like this, then it's less likely that we're forming this diagonal. And basically what we'd be looking out more for then is the possibility that what we actually have is this is a 1-2, and then we're looking to drop in this third, and that basically would be within this third wave. And if we did have to play out like this to the downside, it's quite likely that we would cross this 0.1335 area, and that would be the typical third wave um, travel off of this 1 and a 2 up here. So that would then indicate we'd have more to go down, and we could be looking to target out the 0.1246 area to the 0.1140 area before we get a bounce to the upside. The important thing about this is that if this is playing out and this is how it's going to progress, then effectively we would have to be cautious of any kind of a bigger move to the upside here and make sure that it isn't a wave 4, because within this count we would be missing a wave 4. And by dropping down into these zones, we would then effectively be looking for evidence that we are in this wave 4 or not. So those are the things that I'm currently looking out for, and basically we're going to keep you up to date with these moves. We've got our price targets, we've got our different situations that can happen, but until we break above the 0.2085, I don't see too much potential on a bullish standpoint. If we start to break up above there and we're following that 5-wave move, then we could potentially see some short-term bullishness, but I still do think that we're going to be going down into another low. So I just want to say thank you everybody for watching, and if you enjoyed this video and haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. This really helps us out. I hope everyone has a great day, and until we meet again next time in the next video, keep safe out there everybody.